Hi guys. So I'm asking myself the question, with Bitcoin slowing down, is this a bottom that we can trust? And it's a tough one because in the end of the day, the way that the market is currently looking, I'm really concerned about the bigger outlook. There's a little bit of a CME gap following over here. So over the weekend, we had a little bit of a CME gap. So I want to look at that with you guys today, and then have a little bit of just a step back look at the broader spectrum of what the market is doing and so forth. So in short, the idea is to do the following. Okay, so what do we have? We've got the Dixie that's trending down. Now, historically up till now, everybody's saying, well, Dixie goes down, Bitcoin pumps, Dixie goes up, Bitcoin dumps. And there's enough evidence to support that during the last few years. So every time Bitcoin creates an all-time high, the Dixie starts pumping, okay? And every time the Dixie retraces, Bitcoin puts in a bottom. So we just pushed a new all-time high, and the Dixie is about to go and hit some support areas. So is this a big bottom? Another thing to keep in mind that the bigger picture of things is where we are within the bigger scheme of things. So when we look at Bitcoin, the halving cycles, the all-time highs regarding those halving cycles, and statistically, we always take profit at around the 38.2. So you can still see that there's still a lot of time that needs to go. So it's not like I want to say it's bear market. I mean, we could potentially go through an altcoin accumulation market. The frustrating reality of what we're dealing with now is the market is getting smarter to a point, okay? So you've got a lot of overhyped narratives and lessons learned by KOLs, influencers out there through these areas where the market created these dumps, knowing that it's okay, you just need to buy. So if everybody's front running, we might have a situation where price is just too far advanced of that, okay? Then there's the other side to that. If this is the case and all the influencers are saying buying and it's dumping, the market is actually scared to enter because it's that influencer credibility. When was the last time we had influencer credibility backlash? Crazy ones, when we were in this area around halving, all-time high after the third halving, 2021, 2022. So those kind of things are impacting the way that the sentiments are sitting in there. And clearly, I mean, everybody's saying buy the dip, but fear and greed index can remain bearish for weeks at an end before there's actually a real dip to buy. So those kind of things do play a little bit of a hold on things. Now, to add to this, this technical analysis channel. So, we all talk about, I don't want to talk about TA, but then it creates a situation where there could be a potential adoption stagnation, where there's guys that want to buy, the guys that wanted to buy XRP. XRP has burned a lot of people's fingers now, all the SEC news and everything that kind of went around that gave XRP an insane kick in price, okay? But that kick now is now confirmed within a big engulfing candle, well, not completely engulfing, but engulfing on the closing price, that we have lost this $2.7 level, which then opens the door for the late bloomer coins to still see some insane punishment, which is just going to add fuel to this whole influencer credibility factor, because everybody was screaming more, and then was talking about $160 XRP and some crazy shit out there, guys. So, and this kind of backlash creates a real bad sentiment, I think, and a bad sentiment driver, which then just adds to this situation. I mean, if you look at the fear and greed index and you look at the recent coins, now, Trump coin, memes should be pumping, it's not pumping. Sui, Hex. Now, this is not for the month. If we look at the cup, if we look at for the year, things are maybe looking a little bit lighter, but, the big thing is still OM. And I think it's OM because it had its moment. It doesn't necessarily still be the one. XRP, you're still in slight profit. Cardano, you should probably be still in slight profit, from the beginning of the year. I don't see Cardano here. It's probably not even on the top 10 anymore, or the top 100. Where is Cardano? Why am I not seeing Cardano? Funny. Okay. And so forth. And even, last week in the video, I was telling you why OP, HBAR might be good candidates, going forward. AVAX was on that list. Aptos was on that list, those kind of things. I mean, look at this hex, it's coming in there, it's coming in there. So those kind of things, it's all things that's just adding to the driving force. Okay, so if you want to know a little bit more, guys, what you need to do is just drop me a comment, say, hi, I want to know who am I talking to today. Hello, Baldy. Hello, Yuto. Hello, Renee. Anybody else, anybody new, let me know in the comments. Share the video, hit the like, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're all about getting and navigating the crypto market successfully. Okay, so let's then take a deep breath, chill, relax, and then let's have a look at the Dixie and slowly talk you guys through everything. Okay, so first things first. From a pure trader technical, from a pure technical point of view, technical trader analysis, okay? Forget Trump pump, forget the US, forget China wars, forget everything for a moment. The news is a brilliant lubrication for any move or any event that's there, and it's sometimes engineered to give you a perception of what is going to happen in order for big players to get themselves in and out. Think about it. If you've got, if you're a hedge fund sitting with trillions of dollars, you can't really realize profits unless you upsell what you have to somebody else because you need a losing party. So those things do play a big role. Hello, PJO2 and Liquid Dogs. Okay. And YouTube user, hello to you as well, my friend. So those kind of things do play. And the way that we then use the Dixie is to kind of just see the gauge, the sentiment of the general public and so forth. Okay. So the Dixie is trending up still. Okay. Now I'm talking long term. We're looking at 2010 lows here, and we're looking where we are there. Now, super cycle theory, people saying $2 million Bitcoin, $1 million Bitcoin. The argument for that is on the basis that, the dollar goes to shit. So as soon as we start zooming out, the narrative for that is there. Okay. So as always, I say tops will always look bullish until they fail, just like bottoms will always look bearish until they fail. Okay. So if I'm looking at this Dixie from this point of view, we're at tops. And the fact that you might feel hesitant, fearful in the narrative of what crypto is going to mean, it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. There's nothing wrong with that. But the time to take the risks is now because of that. So I'm not trying to KOL influencer buy you and get you, into projects and get you wrecked. But realistically, from this kind of zoomed out approach view to it, there's evidence to say that. And then don't forget the adoption. Okay, this is what drives all of this. We're in a situation where this is now 2005, it's an old picture that I can find, but it takes time for the adoption to happen, and this adoption is what basically drives Bitcoin from a point of view. Now, if we have hesitance, think about this, okay? If people are hesitant to get into Bitcoin, people are hesitant because they're late. They're hesitant because of influencer credibility wrecking them. They're hesitant because everybody was saying you've not missed nothing. The thing's gonna pump. And when we were here, I gave you the short on the trading podcast, okay? All those kind of things just drives and delays the adoption. So we could have a situation where Bitcoin just needs a little bit more time, okay? And it doesn't mean that the big picture things changes or even the altcoins you need to be holding changes, but Bitcoin needs a little bit of time. And once that time is, kind of matured and the accumulation has taken effect, you'll have a really good idea of what's going to be the next move. So for me, I'm looking at this area as a potential bounce point. So short term, I'm seeing a little bit of relief for Bitcoin short term. So there is a situation where if we enter the market now, we could see maybe for 2-3 weeks, a little bit of greenish environment until Bitcoin starts heating up, hitting resistance again. And then we'll take it level by level, okay, because of the Dixie. Okay, so I don't want to delete those lines. I just want to remove the squibbles. Now, another thing to just keep in the back of your head, guys, the driving force that created the bear market for us in the first place. I mean, 2022 altcoin all-time highs and then the whole 2023, 2024 shitty markets, okay? The driving force was because of inflation was too high. Inflation was running away, and the Fed stepped in, and instead of printing money, they were offloading their balance sheets. They were selling, okay? So they were doing the opposite. Instead of stimulating, they wanted to contract the market. And the figures they were looking at to do that was the CPI figures, okay, and the PPI with I don't know, as he's left now, Jerome Powell, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, saying that his personal opinion is that they focus more on the PPI because it's more directly correlated to what the end users. It's the manufacturing, the cost of manufacturing, whether the industries are passing the increased expense of doing business onto the retailer, or whether they're holding that, retailing meaning the general public, okay, or whether they're absorbing those fees, because that tells you in the end of the day, good measurement, whether the economy is doing good or bad, okay. And it's because of the higher interest rate that this whole thing was trying the whole thing was engineered to bring the inflation rate down, okay. So typically the interest rates got higher, and it just kept on murdering any investment that was out there because people were fleeing to the security of stable plus treasury bonds, those kind of things, because the interest rates are high and were looking more lucrative at that stage. Okay. So when we monitor this thing, at the moment, the market is not expecting any major changes. So if we do have the CPI figures come in this week, unfavorable, okay, the market might switch whichever way direction. I'm not going to try and speculate on them at this stage. I'm not an economist in this sense, but I just know that these figures will mean. So by Wednesday, Thursday, things will give us a little bit of better idea of what to do going forward. Okay. Then GDP is also a big factor, because in raising the interest rates, we don't want to see the GDP go negative, turn into a recession, because that was the whole idea. I'm going to try and engineer a soft landing. So we just need to keep an eye on the GDP figures for now. Everything, I think, is still relative, and we'll take that as it goes. But this brings me to this image. Just want to bring this image to you. Peter, can you just maybe remove my face there for a second? Thanks, buddy. So when you look at the Fed pivoting, meaning reducing the interest rates, and we've said this so many times, I think I've almost talked this to death by now, but reducing the target rate, okay, the target rate and making it lower, it's that pivot that normally engineers a last bull trap. Big pump before the dump, statistically. Why is that? Because large players will engineer a bullish market because you've got more money. The interest rate is relaxed. The shit is behind us. You can buy, Those good news narratives will start driving fresh money to the markets so that those guys can actually get out of their positions because they're planning and preparing for what would be next. The recession. So historically, and this is the trend until it doesn't end up being like that. We're probably due for a recession, 2026, 2027, okay? Stock markets are down at the moment, but pushing all-time high territory still, okay? Those kind of things. And it's that Fed pivot cautionary tale that I've been reminding you guys of. So we're in a situation where potentially a pivot will arise, okay? And the market, when the pivot happens, you can draw a line straight up. When the pivot happens, the stock markets rally for a little bit longer, okay? The pivot happens, stock markets rally, and then the recession, then the recession, then the recession. There's only one time when the pivot happened, we didn't really see a real recession. It only came much later with the COVID crash, okay? And potentially the COVID crash is an overextension of a recession that should have been, from a technical point of view. So these things do play a role. So just don't lose sight of the bigger things, which means that if I then take this information over and take it back to this Bitcoin chart, and we look at the timing statistically, it means that we might be going through a little bit of sideways, and a little bit of boring, and a little bit of, shit, maybe I fucked up, looking at your portfolio balance so that accumulation can take effect, so that we can have that last little hurrah pump, okay? Now, yet again, TA is a powerful tool, but it's also misleading because it creates the false sense of what the future will bring, guys. That's why I take things level by level. I don't try and predict too far, but statistically, the bigger picture still says that this is still okay. Okay. And then we can layer in other technical analysis tools. We can look at moving averages. What would those people be saying? So I can look at this from a short-term point of view. Short-term point of view, everything is lining up for more downside on the daily time frame. Long-term on the daily time frame, we've now just lost the trend momentum. So these things would add to the fuel, to the fact that people are not comfortable, because it's the first thing everybody learns when they start investing in trading is look at the moving averages. Okay, so oh shit, this is bad. But remember, it's a delayed thing. So the math's only catching up for the big dump that was. Okay. And the big takeaway that I want to share with you guys is when you look at this from a 200 MA point of view, okay, it's still pointing upwards. So your trend line is still pointing upwards. So your higher time frames is still suggesting bullish is going to come back. Okay. If you then scale this to the weekly time frame, we've purely lost trade support. So if you think of the scale of the punishment you're going through, it's the equivalent of exactly what we dealt with there in that little crazy area. Okay. With your trend and your trend and your momentum still healthily pointing to the upside. So there's still a lot to consider when we look at these things from a macro point of view. Okay, guys. Then also I just want to point out to you guys when we look at these kind of larger time frame plays is that with the RSI creeping down, price have at no stage made a lower low yet. Okay, no lower low yet. But the RSI is about to start making lower lows. And we know what that is, guys. From an educational point of view, that's hidden bullish divergence. There. It's a continuation divergence. The oscillator is resetting, although price is not losing critical demand. So it just adds to that, yes, some are right for saying buy the bloody dip. It's just kind of navigating the risk is the critical thing here, guys. Understanding that it is buy the dip, but it's just buy the bloody right dip, Okay. Then just to add on to this, I just want to have a look at a few things with you guys. The supply and demand raise, okay? Now, this is typically how we navigate the bigger play of BTC. You'll see that price has a way of revolving around these axes, okay? And if you track this, it's a trend line that you draw once and you'll use it for the rest of Bitcoin's life cycle. Okay. And where we are now, the hope was that we were going to stay above this. This was the momentum play, which failed. Okay. And now we're just about to try and fill that gap. So when you have a fast move, the market eventually will go and try and reclaim that gap. That's all that's trying to do. Fast move, it was trading in that range. You can do that all over the show. You can have a look at all these fast moves. In the future, the market wants to reclaim that. And it could be that, this was a fast move. We're just trying to reclaim that. So yes, we're sitting above on a demand ray, okay, which means that time from a weekly point of view is in your favor, but you need to be patient, okay? Weekly candles, it takes forever for 5 candles to print. So, you understand that it can sometimes just be so frustrating, especially when we go through these cycles. So please don't lose sight of the bigger view. Okay, so 18 minutes in, let's start looking at some of the altcoins so that we can kind of decide how we're going to move on. That's not the line I want to see. I want a demand line. There we go. Boom. All right. One last little thing now. Looking at the short term for the alts, okay, is that when we look at BTC, we've got a CME gap that formed, okay, over the weekend. Are we going to dump down lower first, come back for the CME gap, or are we going to try and instantly fill this and start rallying? I don't know, guys. We're going to have to take it level by level, okay? One thing I want to do point out when we look at this from a point and figure point of view, and I zoom out and I try and get all the trading volume from there to there, you can see that around $78,000, there's a big unbalance in the way that the market is moving. A lot of volume, consistent volume from 54 all the way to about 68. And from that point onwards, the market was very thin. That's why the move was so violent, okay, so quick. Very thin in the order book. So if a big player was entering, buying, say, 1,000 BTCs, the argument is they would be moving price so much so then prior than buying down these levels, because there was more opposing forces, more supply absorbing the demand. Okay, so we're tickling the $78,000 level, which suggests that if that holds, we've got enough pain from everybody at 100K and above buying the all-time high or the current high to see price retrace and move that. That's more than 25%. And historically, Bitcoin in a bull run can go as low as 36% on retraces. You can go measure it, guys. It's always been like that. So yes, the thing is slowing down much more sideways, but we're in a situation where the bears have not gained so much momentum yet. Okay, the retraces aren't that violent. We didn't go from 70 all the way back down to 50. Okay, we had a 25% correction, a little bit more, 30% correction. Okay, so over to the alts then. First coin, XRP. So we talk about XRP. There's about 200 people joining live. Another sentiment indicator. Okay, when the views go down, people bugger off. They don't care. So it's a good thing in a way, because it means that they've already sold or given up. Less money to fight than for the next bull. The bull's got less money to fight against. Okay, so XRP, I'm seeing a little bit more. There is still all this punishment. So nothing has changed for me around these levels. Okay, we can look at Solana as well. Solana is weak. Solana, up until now, we had a massive pump there with Solana on the weekly, and we stayed above that pivot, that thou shall not cross divergence, way back. Okay, and Bitcoin is now doing that. Bitcoin is going through this equivalent, in my opinion. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to go switch off the supply and demand ray. We've got our buy sell boxes, all the areas we wanted to buy and sell. Okay, but I almost just need to do this. I can just draw one line for you guys. Okay, and it's there. And I can make that line nice and green and big. Okay, nice and thick. Bring in the RSI, scale this to the weekly. Okay, what do we have? We've got divergence, but we've got such a powerful move that left that range. Okay, such a powerful move that left that range that it's expected that there's going to be punishment coming our way. But as long as we stay above it, it's the same as the equivalent of Solana. So you can basically look at this entire playbook and say it's okay. The worry that happens for Bitcoin and for the larger alt market is when you start falling below that pivot. There we had Solana again create yet another divergence. Okay, yet another strong bearish divergence. Okay, higher high, lower high, and we fell below that pivot, opening the door for the entire previous trading range. And we'll probably bounce where we are because we're at the bottom of the range. You're bullish at the bottom of the range, guys. Okay, always. Think about it. If you just do this, just buy the lows, you're only going to be wrong once. Okay, sell the highs, you're only going to be wrong once. Buy the lows, wrong once, and then goes, then you're done. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Okay, so for BTC, we're doing the equivalent of this. Okay, let's get back here. We're closing to the range. Now, do we go 78? Do we go a little bit lower? There's the potential for that. But the market Bitcoin has a way of just front running. Come on, I've got a drawing tool selected. Sorry, guys. Bitcoin has a way of front running it. So I don't know. My guess is just as good as yours in that regard. I don't have an honest, guaranteed answer. But then the same is going to be playing out for your Cardano. Okay, probably going to go back down. I still have my leverage position. It's from 33 cents. I mean, that's an amazing deal. I don't need to panic about this because at the end of the day, my time to have taken profit was there. But it's my larger time frame belief. We all have a right to do whatever we want. I can give you a sell zone. You can choose to act on it or not. Simple as that. Okay. If this is the case and we go back down 40, I can add to that position because then the next drive would potentially take me to that $1.60. That's where my long-term outlook TP is for this. And that's it. That's as simple as that. So these kind of things are still all poised for a little bit more punishment. But Now we're running in a situation, if we start looking at Ethereum, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, okay? Weekly, daily time frame, you're not allowed to go in any lower than that, okay? We have a situation where the demand zone gets created. We're testing it and reacting out of it. So although BTC just tested lows and things are looking bad there, you've got strong bullish divergence on the daily. Maybe it's going to set into the weekly time frame for Ethereum. It's too soon, you know. But what do we have for Ethereum on the larger time frame? Hidden bullish divergence, guys, on all the big pivots, okay? So the time for a surprise pump is probably now, and we're in that area where that could potentially happen, okay? Now, if I'm saying divergence, you're not seeing it, what I mean by that is you can clearly see lower low on price. That's a really good sign. And we know this because when we look at any 5-wave Elliott structure, guys, any 5-wave Elliott structure, draw it like that, however you want to draw it, okay? If I were to draw hypothetically the way the RSI would print, it will be on the low side, and then it will jump to the high side, then it will come back to the low side, then it will jump on the high side, okay, come back to the low side, and then make a lower low to give you that hidden bullish divergence, to go and make a higher high again, to go and make a lower high there with price making high, giving you strong bearish divergence to turn the trend. Okay, that's how it works. It's always been like that. This is the simplicity of understanding technical analysis and just knowing that you need to be patient with those kind of things. So these signals are slowly but surely entering. But it's a kangaroo market at the moment. It's bouncing, going up and down, up and down, up and down. And we haven't left that just yet. Okay. So over to your comments real quick. Let's see. Hello, Yuri. Hello, Stanku. Can you look at the dominance? Yes, I can look at the dominance real quick, but you're not going to like what I see in the dominance for now. So here's the dominance. Bigger picture, dominance is still trending up. Simple. Okay. Nothing's changed there. So once, oh, look at my hair. I should probably check that out. Okay, now I'm looking better. Once we see Ethereum move, alt season typically functioned like that. Okay, you'll have Ethereum as your first, Bitcoin is your first mover. Then money starts maturing their gains and start moving into Ethereum and okay. And there's a lot of debate around Ethereum, which is now proof of stake model, which changed the way it was proof of work model. So the miners were making money. So now the guys are jumping ship. So you've got a lot of miner sell-off and miner capitulation out of Ethereum because it's proof of stake now. The rewards are down. Gas fees are low. Ethereum doesn't have any more of the problems that plagued it in the beginning. So we have this, this change in the way that the business model was. We know this, that the market doesn't like news that it didn't prepare for. No, that's what we look at the Dixie, why we look at everything. As soon as there's news that we don't like, we change. It's simple as that. So you have all those things that drives this. Once Ethereum shakes off that, starts moving, then money will start trickle back into the large caps. We've already seen this. Cardano, XRP with the US, the Trump pumps reacting really nicely. And then your mid caps, your OP, Celestia, Sui's probably already had its run, but those coins will start moving. And then alt season, that's when anything that's got a name pumps. We're not there yet. We've had meme season, but we haven't had DeFi pump. We didn't have gaming pump. We don't have anything like that just yet, guys. So it just lends to the argument that there is more time that needs to pass before we're going to get our next move. And it's going to come quick. It's going to probably be 6 months, 4 to 6 months, and then it's going to be over. And it's at those highs where it won't look bearish, where you're going to have to then say, well, just like these sell zones that I shared with you guys, I mean, there's a missed one, but that I shared with you guys didn't make sense. Okay. We're in a situation where I'm going to sell a buy zone to you that doesn't make sense. It looks bearish. Okay. Hope that I can rest my case. Let me know. Let's see what Baldy has. Does it look like weekly hidden bearish divergence on the USDT forming? Baldy, we can probably see if we can quickly load the USDT dominance. USDT.D. See if there's anything there. One can argue, yes, that is there. And one can also argue that we had weak bullish divergence, meaning we did make a lower low, the RSI is there. And yes, we've got imbalances. So think about this. It took some time for the Dixie to get into its imbalance. I'm going to finish this drawing. I'm going to show you this in Dixie. Okay. So it took some time for the Dixie to get there. So we could potentially still chop around this range. But price is going to want to try and get the value there. Get people fearful enough to actually see this thing trend down. And the fact that we're in a situation where we've had this, okay, USDT. Yes, there's more money coming into it, more coins being created. So it's a little misleading to that point. But you want to see there be an influx. Too many USDTs. People don't want that side of the market. Okay. And then typically, you'll have a little bit of a move. Now, people don't want the side of the market. It's a tough one how it's going to print. So it's that same thing as when we look at the Dixie. Is it going to be correlated directly in the way that we expect, or is it going to take some time? Because Dixie's dumping. Why aren't we pumping? Okay, so it's tricky when you look at these things. You have to zoom out and give it time. That's I think. Okay, so over to the alts again. So I'm going to talk Ethereum. I'm going to now look alts, guys. No more jumping anything. About 260 people joining live on all the various streams. Well, 3 various streams I'm using. Let's quickly see what else we have. Peter, how many likes? 27 likes on you, 28 likes. Oh, come on. What I'm doing basically means nothing then. Come on, guys, on Twitter, give me a couple of likes. Those on YouTube, share the content. Let's get that up. Okay. Let's have a look at some more. I'm going to just go ahead off to your comments real quick. Let's quickly see what we have here. That's anything that I'm going to go through the coins that I want to do. So it seems like that. And some of those coins are already in the list here. So Link. So what do we have for Link here? I'm going to hit daily time frame. Okay. And this was the original Link chart. Okay. So this was our Link buy. I think I cleaned it up. We're consolidating. Link is really strong. There we were talking about selling because we had divergence pivots falling below that. Okay. But at the end of the day, Link probably needs a little bit more punishment. Maybe go down to at least $11 where it's at. That's not a complete reversal. That looks more like Bitcoin at this stage. So the weekly is not looking that good, other than the fact that we still need that. But the daily is showing promise, which means we might just sit here. The best time to sit here, think about this, is this. Oh, it's going to dump and then it just doesn't. Oh, it's going to dump and then it just doesn't. Just kangaroo. Okay. And then whoops once. I want to see the kangaroo form now, and then we can start doing these lower areas. We can start buying in on the lows, selling the highs, okay? And what is this thing on the daily now? It's saying buying the lows. Look at that divergence trying to form. So it's worthwhile to almost say to yourself, if you've got free cash, to kind of grab these lows, but not to invest necessarily, trade, okay? Buy when it goes there, sell, and the profit you leave. So you sell out just to have your original capital back. Then you buy again, regional capital, because you need to keep skin in the game, because you're never going to time when the pump is going to happen. So if you think about it, if you can do that 2 or 3 times, okay, every time it does make a swing like this, it's 30%, okay? So think about it, $100, $130. I've got $30 there, free Link. $100, another $130. Now I've got $60 free Link, okay? $100, and then it breaks and goes, okay? I might sell, I can buy back. I've got $90 of free my tongue is twisting. Free Link, okay? $90 of free Link by just trading the kangaroo market and being patient. And I've got my $100 to turn around and look for another new alt gem that some influencer will be peddling, because when the market moves, everything pumps. Okay, it's easy. And go and buy that, double your money, turn that into 200 and sell half, and then let the thing ride. So there's a lot that you can do, but you have to be patient, guys. And it's a frustrating thing, because we want the now. I want to jump on the YouTube and I want the guy to tell me now and tomorrow I'll have my profit. It's just not going to work that way for the next week or so, probably. Okay. Ethereum Classic. I want to skip Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash. This is our long-term buy, guys. It's the buy that I've been sharing with you guys. But this is the important thing. If you bought the momentum buy zone, okay, you're in the rebalance zone, guys. You need to get out because it will go and test that range again, okay? And it's that area where you will be able to farm additional 30%. So you might have lost. Let's say you're in this zone where you are now. So you bought there, you're down 15%. You sell now, okay? You're selling at a loss, okay? But you can buy back at 30% discount later on. That seems like a deal because what's this thing going to do? It's going to kangaroo. It's going to kangaroo. It's all that it's going to do until the next pump. And then you can build your position, build the skin in get the skin in the game so that when the pump happens, you might be sleeping on a beach somewhere. You're not out of the ride. Okay. That's all you need to be doing now. Okay. BNB. Let's quickly have a look at BNB. It's below that line now, and it's rejecting at that line. So BNB is going to go to my target. So 360 is again on the cards for BNB. BNB has been very strong. But if XRP can go back to $1, BNB will probably hit 340 again, in my opinion. Nothing more that I can say. So investment-wise, that's something just to keep in the back of your head. Comp. Let's quickly have a look at comp. Okay. One of those which is pushing real lows now. Okay. Look at that RSI. Strong bullish divergence. Kangaroo market. Comp should bounce pretty much into that $62 range. This was our original buy zone, guys. This is where we added to momentum. Then it came back to the buy zone. We bought there again, and we had two amazing opportunities to take profit on this thing. Double your money, sell half. Simple as that. That's the rule. First rule of any buy. Once it doubles your money, you sell half. Then it's free. Okay. So now you've got that reload zone or that rebalance zone. Reload, more short is going to enter the market at that stage, okay? And rebalance, if you're underwater with the position, you start offloading into the supply because it's the highest probable point for the turnaround, okay? That's the best price you could potentially get to get out of your losing position just to grab the next low when it forms, okay? That's the kind of season we're in, okay? Let's do... We're 36 minutes in. Guys, I think that's it for today. There was a comment a little bit earlier from Hoover. I think Hoover. Let's do XCN. Okay. I'll do it on... Where's this in my list? Let me just quickly see if I can find it here on my list. Ooh, can't find it. Okay. I'll use... Mexi. No. I don't want a perpetual. I want a normal spot. Let's do this. Okay. Now, Hoover, I want to give you this, and then I want to say this. Okay. Emotional market cycle. Crypto EMC. That's the foundation of everything I do. Okay. Where we at? Are people in denial, panic, or in anger, or in depression? So that's the question I want to pose back to you. And then when we look at this, the argument is, where would depression be? Now, I've got a fib that I use to try and identify where depression would be. It's statistically the most probable area, okay? And it's there. So this thing is in that area where kangaroo market bounce, and then run. The fact that it had an insane pump like this, okay, is based off the investment laws of Wyckoff. Cause and demand, effort and result, and cause and effect, effort and result, and then supply and demand, okay? And the way that those things show up in a chart, long, flat, boring, big move, okay? Simple as that. So the move is over, in my opinion. It's for the amount of accumulation, the time that this thing was dead. Now, yes, from this view, it does look dead, but in that moment, you had crazy swings, okay? But the time that moved was because of this, and it's played out. So the cause and the effect has already played out. The cause was built. Whoever wanted to buy this has bought it now and has marked up the price. So the effect, okay? The supply and the demand, this was the demand, has now used all of this to supply to whom? somebody that's going to be losing high volume, okay? And then effort versus result. They won't put all of this in to not sell, and that's what the result is there. It's selling. So that's the end future for this. So it's going to take some time for this thing to have its move. Yes, you might still be up, and if you're up, I would consider offloading, because why sit on a ship that's sinking when there might be other rockets passing you by? And I didn't coin that phrase. I don't even know who invented it, but the guy that told me that is an OG when it comes to buying and selling on these kind of scales of times. And it's been proven to be true. Okay. So if you're in a situation where you're maybe doubting, is this thing going to go? Yes, there's potential. This thing can do this tomorrow. There's no rule like that. But in essence, if you look at the effort, the simplistic way of saying emotional market cycle, we need this. Okay, so whoever told you about the coin, if they're not hating on it yet, it's probably not there. Okay. Monkey saying, hit the love button. Thanks, my friend. Vito, I think ETH USD will go down to 1800-ish for alts to bottom. Yes, look, I'm going to reserve my, well, no, let's not reserve. Let's not reserve it, okay? I can put my head on the block. I don't mind, okay? We have now got strong bullish divergence, okay? The problem with strong bullish divergence on this kind of time frame is if you look at these pivots, where's the pivot? There's the pivot bottom, that candle, okay? Take it to the high, the next pivot, okay? So it's around about there, okay? And I apply my strong divergence prediction, trying to look for the bottom. It's a buy. And yes, 1,840 is part of the negotiation horizon or area. So it can go there and still be bullish. The time to take risk, though, is now. The worry that we don't want to see is it fall below that range, okay? And then the additional plus point that we would want to see for Ethereum to kind of make us feel better about buying now would be that we start trading above 2,200, which is still a far end away. So and once we get above that, then it opens the door on the horizon for us to go and attack that trend line. I'm going to offload. I should have done it there. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was a greedy bugger. I didn't offload my ETH there. Do what I say, not do what I do. Okay. But big picture, I'm going to offload there, because then at some stage we'll probably come back to 2.2 and I can farm that scenario. I don't like to make too many decisions on my investments, though, jokes aside, because you don't trade your investments. Okay. Not financial advice. I can't, if I say that word and look, I'm not financial advisor. I can only say what I'm going to be doing. And I'd never invest emotionally into a trade, guys. So it's important to separate the two. Okay. So yeah, you're right. You're right. It's there. It's in the scope of what could potentially go. Okay. Let's see what else. Morning, Mr. George Strickland. Let's see. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for taking time. Video brought to you by Bybit, okay, channel sponsor. I've got a private group, guys, where we trade live together. I've do investment reports for everybody, give outlooks on market trends and conditions. You can have a look at the HODL reports there. We've done a new format now. Normally it was just a list of links. So you can go and have a look at what was said, the charts, everything, all the coins I'm looking at, and so forth. So I do all those things. If you want to take part of that and be part of that, what you're going to have to do is firstly support the channel content by opening your Bybit account. And the easiest way, links in the video description. Head over to the Discord, go and have a look at the partnerships, click on the little Bybit button and follow those steps in there. If you've got an existing one, don't fret. Just create a new one. Transfer your KYC. It's an internal transfer. It's like 5 minutes, you're done, and you're covered. You're there, okay? And this will unlock a lot of the free content I do in the Discord to help guide you guys there, okay? I just don't do it in a straightforward public way, because that's where the scammers come, those DM guys. Hence the fact that my name is Rudo will not DM you. I will not, because they do that. They're crazy. They send you all sorts of stuff. So I try and just stay it away. We're working with real money here, guys. We have to be responsible. Okay. So those kind of things. Or you can do is, and we've got new members joining the community every week. Outright, just join the group. It's a once-off. It's over and done. You don't have to worry about it ever again. Okay. Dule, nice to have you as well. I hope you had an awesome, productive day at work. I am done for the day. I enjoyed the video. Can I use same documents to get KYC on another? Yes, you just transfer it. There's a button. If you go to this link, going off topic, if you go to this link, just click on this thing. There's a Bybit website. You can just click on it and transfer KYC. It's just a link that takes you to Bybit. It shows you on Bybit the steps that you need to do that. So you don't even need to show documents. Literally, it takes 5 minutes. You just say you log in with your existing Bybit account and the new one. And in the existing one, there's a button. This is all the instructions. They're screen by screen. You tell the new one, listen, I want to move this over to the other one. Then you send that user ID. You do your 2FA to make sure that it's you. And then, oops, then the other one is legalized. Simple as that. It's as simple as that, guys. Doesn't take 5 minutes. You don't need to do a lot of things. So go and have a look at this. That's all that it is. So it's easy. Get it done. And you support the content. I help support you. It's one hand washes the other. It's as simple as that. Have a lovely day. Dule, I hope to see you in Discord soon, my friend. And for anybody else, thanks for joining. Cheers, guys.